G'day everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Welcome to another episode. Hope the week has started well for those of you who celebrated Easter. I hope you had a great weekend with your family, or lockdown obviously. Now what we're going to take a look at today is a part of Office 365 called Whiteboard. Now, many of you are missing your whiteboard in your office or your meeting room or your other physical location. So let's jump in and take a look at how we can provide that whiteboarding functionality virtually and remotely. All right. So we're going to go through a couple of different scenarios where it's going to be just a walk through a one-on-one whiteboarding scenario, and then we'll take a look at how we can integrate that with Microsoft Teams as well. Okay, so I'm logged into my Office 365 tenant, and we've got this app that's called Whiteboard. So I'm just going to click on Whiteboard here, and we're going to be taken to the Whiteboard landing page. Now we can create a new whiteboard from here. Now there's also a Windows 10 app that you can download as well. Now let me just drag that across because I'm going to use that one for this particular demo here as well. Now I'm logged in as Megan. I was logged in on the web on the other screen. I'm now logged in through the Whiteboard app. Now we can now create a new whiteboard. All right, so there's a couple of different templates that we can use. Now these are in preview at the moment, or we can just do start from scratch. Now we've got a few different options here. Now if I click on the hamburger menu on the right hand side, we've got some options here where we can, and some settings here as well. Now what I'm going to do here at the moment, I'm just going to format the background. I'm just going to change it to a white background, and I'll just change it to a solid white background for now. Now the next thing, what we can see here is I can now, if I've got a stylus, so if I've got a Surface or something like that, then I can switch to inking mode. I can use the mouse if I want to. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to write on the screen here. And you can see here that I'm using the stylus. I could also use just my mouse if I wanted to then use my mouse as a pen as well. Okay. Now, what we need to do now, or what we can do now, and what's better off in a whiteboarding session is if we have some other participants. So using this plus button, the person with the plus symbol, we can invite somebody onto this whiteboard. Now I'm just going to invite Alex here, and I'm going to send him an invite. Now I'm just going to flick over to Alex's inbox because Alex is going to receive an email notification to say that he's been invited to this whiteboard. So I'll just drag this across here, and we'll just resize it like so. And what Alex will receive is an email that shows that he's been invited. So you can see here, emails come in. Alex, hi Alex, you've been invited to this whiteboard. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to click on this button, and it's going to open up that whiteboard in the browser for Alex. And now he can start to collaborate with Megan on that whiteboard. So I've got the pen here. I'm just going to write my name, or Alex's name. Now I'm using the mouse here. And now I'm just going to drag that across, and let's see what Megan sees here. So you can see here that we've got live, we've got Alex's contributions to the whiteboard here, and you can see that Alex is inside this whiteboard here as well. Now a good thing to note here, I'm just going to drag this back across a little bit, and you'll notice that when Alex starts to write, have a look at what happens to Megan's whiteboard at the top there. All right, so we'll just do some stuff here, and you can see that Alex's pictures appeared so that Megan knows that who's writing on that part of the whiteboard. If we've got multiple people, then it's obviously going to be you'll be able to see who's doing what on that whiteboard. Okay, so really good way to be able to do a virtual whiteboard with a single person or a couple of people. Now, what we can do after we've had our whiteboarding session, now I can also drag this around, and then I can start and move and slide the screen across to provide some more space. Now, once we've finished our session, what we can do is we've got a couple of different options here. We can export this as an image, as a PNG or an SVG file, or we could also post this to Teams. All right. So if we've started a whiteboard session just with a couple of people, then we want to make that available to the rest of the team. Then we can post that directly into Teams. And now I'm going to make another little episode around the Teams integration. So I'll touch on that in the next video. But what we might want to do is invite other people into this whiteboard as well. So if I invite Adele now, what she's going to get, same thing. She's going to get an invite via email, and she can now also start to contribite to this whiteboard. Now, there might be a scenario where you want to not allow certain people to edit or draw on that whiteboard while you are doing that. So what we can do up on the list of people that have got access to this is we can change their settings so that they're only in read-only mode. Okay, so you can see here that I'm just going to change Adele over to read-only. Alex is now changed over to read-only, and he can only... Now, let me just drag this across to show you what that looks like from Alex's side. So you can see Alex has got a notification in his window here that tells him that he is now in read-only mode. So you can see there that Alex is in read-only and he can't do anything with that whiteboard. He can just watch along. Okay, so you can set the different permission levels on each whiteboard as well. Okay, so a really good way to brainstorm and collaborate now that we're not able to, or most of us aren't able to have that physical whiteboard. We can use the whiteboard that's part of Office 365 as well to provide that functionality. Okay, so a really good way, I guess the invitation process is still via email, but what we could also do is invite via a Teams chat or something like that, because what we can do when we go to the invite section, we can click these three little dots and we can create a shareable link. All right. So by creating a shareable link here, we can then potentially maybe post that to in a private chat or a group chat, and then they will get that notification via Teams if we don't want to do it via email. All right. So I hope that brings you some value today. Microsoft Whiteboard can be used to replace that physical whiteboard that you generally use in your office. In the next episode, what we're going to take a look at is how we can do that as part of a wider team. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.